Hello guys and welcome to this 8th session of the Terraform Basic. In this video we are going to discuss about the Terraform variables. First we will need to understand that why the variables is so important and what is the benefit of using the variables, what is the problem it going to sort out for us. So this is the first part that we are going to discuss in the today's session. So let's jump into the doing the things related with the variables. So if you look into the this particular files, this is the similar files which we used in the past videos. So we are having the Terraform required versions. I'm using the VS Code. Previously I'm using the Atom editor. So you can use this particular IDE. So this have some advanced features, or it's depend upon the your requirements, that if you are feeling comfortable with the Atom editor, Notepad++, accordingly you can use it. Okay, so in this particular video, what we are going to discuss, we are going to discuss about the variables. And these all things you already know about it because I already discussed it several times. Okay, the provider, this is the mandatory things we have to provide, that in which particular reason we are going to use it. For AWS, the informations regarding the access key and security key we already configured in the AWS CLI. Okay, so what we are going to do, this is the same code that we used in the previous video. We are going to remove this particular part, okay, from here to here. Okay, so this is quite simple. Okay, what we are using the Terraform version, we are using the provider version also. Okay, for the versioning related thing, we already uploaded a video. If you didn't refer my videos, past video, please have a look, because my motto is to give you a proper understanding regarding the Terraforms. I will not going to make the Terraform file very complex at the beginning when we are discussing at the very basic level related things. Like you can see in the several videos that they are associating lots of things in a single file when it's dealing with the variables. It's not required. You don't have to create the VPC. You don't have to create the security groups. Why? Because you have to just provide the simple way of using the variables so that the people will understand. Making the Terraform file complex will not going to achieve any motto. So my currently motto is to make you understand that how the variables related things works. Okay, so this is the file, and this is the you can say that I pointed it this particular location. So let me clear it. This is the problem not related with the our Terraform. So Terraform code will work fine in this. So I'm going to switch to C Terraforms. Okay, here we have all the things. If you do the ls, you can find all the related things. What we did here, that I just modified the file name with the Terraform variables. That's it. All the codes is related with the previous, and you already have the informations. What is the AMI, why we are using it, instance type, all these things. Okay, so in this particular video we are going to look into the variables. Okay, so suppose see the some difficulties, what and then we will come with the benefits, that what the variable will sort it out. Okay, so I'm going to, if suppose there is a requirement to create 3 instances, not only one. Okay, so I'm going to paste it here. So what you guys think, so it will going to work perfectly fine or not? Okay, so I saved it, and now I'm going to jump and write the Terraform init. Okay, first we are going to initialize it. Okay, so it's saying that the init command will not run because you are using the duplicate variables. So this is the local variable, my EC2 instance. You can I already mentioned these all things in the past video. So first variable, local variable, is fine, but the repeating of the same local variable, the local variable is tagged with the instance. Okay, this is the instance that we are using for the resources. Okay, so you don't have to change this particular things, you can't do it. Okay, so in this way the provider associates this particular resource is associated with the AWS, and the plugin will get downloaded as per the version we provided. So this is the local name. Okay, so what I am going to do it here, I am going to make it a meaningful. You can do it as a, this is my EC2 first, my EC2 second, and my EC2 third. Okay, okay, so what we did, we changed the local variable. So this particular local variable have one AWS instance associated. Okay, and this particular local variable have this instance, accordingly third one. Okay, now I'm going to save it, and again I'm going to use Terraform in it. So in that case, it identified the local have not a conflict with the duplications. All the local variables for the AWS resource instance have its unique name, okay, to identify the resource. So why it's get filled? Let me try it again. Okay, so there is no problem. It's failed due to some connect issue with the registry. Okay, I tried it again and it's succeeded. Okay, no issues. Okay, there is no problem in the code. So let's validate the code as well. Terraform validate. Okay, and the format related thing we not required because we are using the VS Code and it's already get formatted automatically, because supported plugin for the Terraform I already downloaded for the VS Code. So now I'm going to use the Terraform plan. Okay, so as per the plan, definitely the three resources will get created as per the code we provided, but we are not going to apply it. My motto is not that. First, you have to let know that suppose these particular things we are doing for it for the development environment. Okay, this is the code, and we are doing it for the development environment, no issues. But we hard coded it three times. Suppose we require to large instance, then we have to modify it accordingly. Okay, but suppose we are doing it several times for the staging, this the same file will we are going to use, and we have to modify each places, like in we are creating the VPC environment where we have there is a requirement of creating the several instance of the same instance type. So if the requirement get changed, okay, at that time you have to modify it several places, the same thing, because this is the duplicate things. Okay, and this is also, so you want to put this variable as a variable so that you can change the variable, and the same reference will be taken at here, used at here, and you have to do the modifications at single place. Okay, so what we are going to do here, we are going to define the variables here. Okay, control space variables. Okay, and assign some name like I'm using, sorry, I'm using AMI ID. We are not going to use only for the AMI ID. We are going to use it for the instance type also. And why not for the reason? We have to define them. Whatever you can do for to put it as a variable, you have to do it to make the code simpler. Okay, because sometimes there is a requirement that you have to deploy this instance to this particular reason, this instance to other reason. So it's depend upon the requirement. So I put it as a AMI ID. This is the variable name, and again you have the description. So better if you are working for any organizations, better to provide a descriptions. Like for example, I am doing it for this particular variable. Rest variable you can define it when you are working for the organizations. Okay, this variable is used to define AMI ID. Okay, so this is just for the informations that why you are using this particular variables. Okay, and now uh, It's loading. We can use the type related things. We will come back to this. The default variables we are going to use, uh, this is for the AMI ID, so I'm going to use this one. Okay, as simple as that. Now we are going to make a second variable. Okay, and the name of the variable is like instance type. This is my variable name, and the default variable, we are not going to define the descriptions. You can do it this is the good practice to provide the descriptions, but I'm not going to do it, to just not involve in the writing so much things, which is not our motto. Okay, so the default value will be the T2 micro. Okay, just copy it from here. Okay, T2 micro, and one for the reason as well. Okay, variable AWS region. Okay, and here I have to provide the default one. I am going to use the AP South one. Just copy it and paste it here. Perfectly fine. Beside this, there is nothing in this particular file which we can put it as a variable. So I used all the things. You have to monitor your file, and accordingly you can do it. Okay, now we used it, so we have to use the variable. So what variable is for AMI ID? This one. Okay, so this is the variable ID for the AMI ID, and this will have the reference from this particular locations AMI ID. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to use it here as well, and here as well. Okay, similarly we have to do it for the T2 micro, where, so that it can reference the variable, and the name of the variable for the instance type is instance type. Okay, so now copy it as use it both the places. Okay, and the one thing is left here to define, not define, that call the region, AWS region. Okay, so if you save it, okay, if you save it and run the Terraform plan again, okay, so you will get that similar output. But the benefit of this particular thing is, like you can see here, it's referencing the T2 micro for all the instances, creating the 3 instances, and all have the similar instance type. Okay, so this is the beauty of using the variable. Suppose I change the mind and it's not going same file, we need to deploy it in the staging environment, not in the development environment, and there we use want to use large, so we have to change at a single place, and this will replicate accordingly for all the things. So if you go down and use the same command plan, so you can see that it's automatically get reflected for all the instance, because we are using the variables, and this is the purpose of variable, to change that one places. T2 large for this instance, number 3, T2 large, and T2 large. Okay, so this is the one thing that I just want to provide you informations on the variable. Okay, and the second thing is that not to use all the things in the single Terraform file. This is not a good practice. So what I'm going to use, just going to copy all the 3 variables from here, just remove it, Control X, okay, and I'm going to save this file, and I'm going to use a file, Terraform file with the name variables, okay, TF, and here I'm going to paste it. Okay, so we provided all the informations, and this file don't have any informations related with the variables. So when we run the Terraform init or Terraform plan, it will look into that file automatically. Okay, you can name it anything like, but the variables related things is more common to use so that the people other peoples will understand. Okay. Similarly, we can move it for it this particular things also, like this is the variable related things. Okay, and you can move this particular also into a single Terraform file for the instance name, like instance dot, yeah, ec2 instance dot tf file. Okay, so you can manage or make your file Terraform related files very means very understandable for anyone, that okay, this is the Terraform that keeps the variables related things, this is the Terraform files that keep the ec2 instance related things. Okay, so in this way you can just make your Terraform folder, you can say, where you keeping all the Terraform files in a simplest way. Okay, so I put it here, and if you run these things again, you can see that there is no changes. So it's picking all the things, all the variables related data accordingly. So you can see that the three, it's going to again add the three. I'm not going to deploy anything in this particular video, but just to demonstrate you that how the things work. So if you change it here again I'm going to put it T2 micro. Okay, let's save it, and when I'm going to use it, it will now the instance type will get changed from large to micro. Just have a look on one instance. Other will also have the similar informations because we are referring the same variable files. Okay, now what happened if I remove this? Means I'm not going to provide any default value, I'm just removing it. This is I'm demonstrating for the single variables. Okay, I'm just removing it. So what will happen? Because we are using the variables, that variables don't have any default things get assigned. So this is the things that you may definitely it will coming in the exam, Terraform associate exam several times. Okay, so the Terraform plan will not going to give you an error, but it will ask you for the entry. So what is the instance type entry? Okay, so if I run the Terraform plan, at that time it will ask you the variable instance type don't have any default value, so what will be the value, just enter it. So when I pass it here the t2.micro, it will assign instance type for all the instance. Okay, so this is the thing how the Terraform works. And suppose the default value is already provided here in the Terraform file, but you don't have the permissions to modify. You have the read-only permissions. You cannot modify in the variable file. You are not authorized, but there is some requirements comes, like you have to deploy this particular file and you have to build the instance, but you have to use the t2.large instance, but you don't allow to modify in any of the files. So what will you do? You can use the take the help from the CLI, means you can override the things in this way. Like I'm demonstrating you for the Terraform plan. Similarly, similar things you can use for the apply also. Okay, so what you can do, you can use the Terraform plan, but in the file you can see that there is T2 micro and you have to use the T2.large. Okay, but you are not authorized to modify in the file, in any of the file. You don't have the permissions, but you have to do it as per the instructions. So you can do it very easily because you have the CLI and you have the role to create the instance. In that case, you have to put the var flag here. Okay, and you have to use the variable. What is the name of the variable for the instance? Because you have the read-only permissions. Okay, you can review it. So just copy it and paste it here, instance type, and then you can use the t2 dot large. Okay, and when you run it, it will override the default value, because the order of taking the variable related things, this have the you can see this comes into the higher order level to take the values, so it's overrides the default value whatever you provided in the file. So if you see here, like for all the instance, it overrides the default value. You didn't modify anything in the file. The file says the default should be, it's a default. Okay, and whatever the value you can put through the CLI, it override this default value. It's not going to look into the what is the value for the, because you are providing the information from the CLI. So for all the instance, it's get changed automatically. Okay, but what happened if I not provide the default value for the reason? Let's check it out. So this time I am not providing the reason. Will it going to ask? Reason is very important thing. I already discussed in the previous video also. So it is going to ask you for the reason. So what you have the reason here? What you have the reason here for the AP South one. So I'm going to copy it. I'm not going to save it. I'm just copying it, and here I'm going to pass the reason. So it will pick and automatically it will run. Okay, so in this way, whatever the value you will now provide, like I show you the things related with the instance. Similarly, whatever the value will you not provide, and it's not a good approach to ask the value for into the CLI. It's not a good, you have to provide all the informations, and the overriding related things is come into the picture when you have the not have the means you are not don't want to change anything into the file. You have to, or you want to override the things, or you don't have the permissions in your organizations, and this is, there is a requirement that you have to change. In that case, you can do this. Okay, so this is the plan, and the similar way we are going to see all other related things related with the variables in the coming video, like how can you define a variables in the tf var files. Okay, and then how you can customize, use the customized file for the variables. Okay, because there will be a simple names for the tf var files, and that you have to use it. If you are changing the name, Terraform will not understand it. Okay, in that case you have to say the Terraform that you have to read this particular file for the variables input. Okay, so all these things we are going to see in the next videos. Okay, because for the variables we may have more than 2 or 3 videos related with the variables, because this is the things that very important regarding the exam prospect also. Okay, and for your understanding, if you are using the Terraform in the in your organization, so this this topic is very, going to be a very important. And we also look into the AMI related things as well. Like currently we are doing the hard coded, this is the hard coded thing, right? And for the reason specific, the AMI get changed. In the similar reason also, the AMI get changed after some time. Suppose for the Linux instance, if you are using this particular AMI for the Mumbai region, and after 2 or 3 months, this AMI not exist in the Mumbai region. So if you have a requirement to pick a latest AMI for any of the region in which you are using, so you can do it in the Terraform file without passing any default values. So we are going to look several things regarding the Terraforms. What is the functions? Okay, which types of functions we can use and how to use it. How the Terraform file will locally execute the command, remotely execute the command. So all the things, because this is the very popular tools, you can say that regarding the building the infrastructure. So I assuming previously that we might have means the 25 or 20, 25 or 26 video, but it will go more than the 30 videos to be if I want to cover all the aspects of the Terraforms, means all related with the Terraform associates exams. Okay, so thanks for watching this video. If you really likes my video, please give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also, if you didn't subscribe my channel, please subscribe it. Click on the bell icon so that whenever I upload a new video, you will get notified. And really, guys, I'm very much delight that you guys appreciating my work, okay, my efforts, because I'm providing these all things free of cost on the YouTube, because I learned several things, means whatever my learning is from the video YouTube. So this is the time to give a small contributions to our community, you can say. So I'm not providing any paid courses anywhere. So only the free videos whenever I get time to just give back a little contributions to our community. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video. Have a nice day.